I'm thinking, really? Somebody just took off with the flag?
All right, everyone, attention on deck.
Do we want to uncover Charlie?
Young lady you just heard is Mariah Wynn.
Thank
She
you.
is going around right now raising money to head for Carnegie Hall.
All right, Mariah Wynn.
She's only 12 years old.
Hey, do we have a donation?
You go to Juilliard before you go to Carnegie Hall.
Not what I was told. Have fun.
You want me over there?
The next song she'll be doing is Annie's Never Fully Dressed Without a Smile.
Hey, old woman, hey, definite. You both got your style, but brother, try never believe it without a smile. Your clothes may be formally, they stand out among the crowd, and you're never fully dressed without a smile. Who cares what you're wearing on Main Street or Savile Road? It's what you wear from ear to ear and not from head to toe that matters. So Saturday, so Saturday, so long for a while, my brother, you're never fully dressed. Though you may be the best, you're never fully dressed without a smile. Yeah.
Well, after you get this one, would you like to sit down?
Her next song is Louis Armstrong's What a Wonderful World.
All right.
I see trees of green, roses too. I see them blue for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying how do you do? There I say, I love you. I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
We're gonna take a break and recharge the energy system.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, if you're gonna do one more, excuse me. Oh, come on, you won't die. You, him. No, he's hungry. Hey, everybody, oh, just pass it around, okay?
Where's she from?
Yeah, this isn't the church. Don't reach in for the last.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How about the pregame entertainment, huh? Fabulous. And that last song is one of my favorites. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
We're going to start in about a couple minutes here, if everybody will grab a seat. I think the bowl is coming around your way. Can everybody hear us? Anybody can hear us?
Yeah, whatever. Rob's back there.
Everybody got a seat? According to my clock, it's 1900 hours or 7 p.m. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Department of Oregon Mid-Year Department Executive Committee meetings. I'm Charlie Schmidt from Hardin County Post 63, the largest post in the largest county in Oregon. It's the only post in Hardin County. Our guest tonight is the commander of the largest veterans organization in the world. I would ask now our National Executive Committee man to escort National Commander Brett Reistad, if you'd all stand. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as the McMinnville Post 21 Honor Guard presents the colors of our country.
close, colors. Hand salute. Whoo! 2. Left face. Whoo!
They got it done. They got it done.
Forward. Whoo!
Ladies and gentlemen, would you remain standing and please uncover as Department Chaplain Steve Schallenberg of Lester Reese 57 brings us the invocation. Chaplain?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for your presence here with us this evening. We thank you for bringing us together. We thank you for our health and our homes and our work. We thank you for the joyful moments we share together as the American Legion family, and also the many bounties and blessings that you give us daily. Thank you, O God, for the little things that bring us joy and for your goodness to us. We thank you for the gift of food that we are about to receive tonight and the people who prepared it. It is especially thank you time for sharing your life with us, both in this meal and in the ways you sustain us. We pray this in your precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Chaplain. At this time, I would ask our department First Vice Commander, Steve Adams, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. Vice Commander.
Ladies and gentlemen, facing the flag of our country, recite with me the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please cover and be seated. At this time, I would invite the Department's Second Vice Commander, Don Weber, for the POW MIA Remembrance Service. Vice Commander?
Uncover. Please uncover. Was that on? Okay. Those who have served and those currently serving in the uniformed services of the United States are ever mindful that the sweetness of enduring peace has always been tainted by the bitterness of personal sacrifice. We are compelled to never forget that while we enjoy our daily pleasures, there are others who have endured and may still be enduring the agonies of pain, deprivation, and imprisonment. Before we begin our activities, we pause to recognize our POWs and our MIAs. We call your attention to the small table which occupies a place of dignity and honor. It is set for one, symbolizing the fact that members of our armed forces are missing from our ranks. They are referred to as our POWs and MIAs. We call them comrades. They are unable to be with their loved ones and families, so we join together to pay humble tribute to them and to bear witness to their continued absence. The table is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner alone against his or her suppressors. The tablecloth is white, symbolic of the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. The single rose in the vase signifies the blood they may have shed in sacrifice to ensure the freedom of our beloved United States of America. This rose also reminds us of the family and friends of our missing comrades who keep faith while awaiting their return. The red ribbon on the vase represents the red ribbons worn on the lapels of our thousands who demand with unyielding determination a proper account of our comrades who are not among us. The slice of lemon on the plate reminds us of their bitter fate. The salt sprinkled on the plate reminds us of the countless volunteers of families as they wait. The glass is inverted. They cannot toast with us at this time. The chair is empty. They are not here. The candle is reminiscent of the light of hope, which lives in our hearts to illuminate their way home, away from their captors to open arms of a grateful nation. The American flag reminds us that many of them may never return and have paid the supreme sacrifice to ensure our freedom. Let us pray to the Supreme Commander that all of our comrades will soon be back within our ranks. Let us remember and never forget their sacrifice. May God forever watch over them and protect them and their families. Let us remember.
Let us remember. Let's remember. Thank you, Don. You know, this weekend here in the American Legion family, McMinnville 21, they're hosting the Department of Oregon. And McMinnville, we appreciate you putting up with us this weekend, and I certainly appreciate all the preparations. Absolutely. Certainly appreciate all the preparations you've made for us. And at this time, I'd like to welcome the Post First Vice Commander Larry Brown to give greetings on behalf of Post 21.
All right, Larry.
Well, maybe y'all didn't have any trouble finding us. We had a little trouble trying to get ready, but we want to thank you very much. I hope the Spruce Goose and Evergreen and your events during the meetings, everything have been to your liking. And if that's not good enough, come on back, because we'd love to have you here more often. And thank you very much, and welcome to McMinnville Post 21.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Larry.
Actually, Larry, you guys have done such a great job. I suspect we probably will be back. You know, we've all been waiting for some delicious food, and you know, I've been to this post several times and had several good meals here. So I think at this time, I believe the auxiliary ladies of Unit 21 is ready to prepare the dinner. Ladies, it's all yours.
Okay. Covers off.
Don't roll.
Never a dull moment.
Nice stand.
I'll give you a card if that would help. Thank you very much. Very nice to be here. So, you're Auxiliary President.
It's Chris Ann, K-R-I-S-A-N.
I just need the first name.
Chris Ann Owens. Chris Ann.
And your son's commander.
Ron.
Ron?
Ron. Yeah, it is Ron. It's not Copeland. It's
That's all right. That's all I need.
yeah. Doggone it. Doggone it. You know what? I would take a cup of coffee if just black is fine.
Okay. Coffee?
You would, wouldn't you?
Good? Okay.
You know, I don't know where. Well, there he is. John from the Evergreen Museum. He's just down mid-table on the left-hand side. Sitting just with gray jacket. I was wondering if he made it. I didn't see him. He didn't say anything. He's here. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
No, I was just being sneaky that way.
9 years ago.
He mentioned to me that you can buy a membership, and they're usually around $180. For $120 on the 1st of February every year. One day, you get that same membership for $120. And you can, it's good to come anytime, they're open, and you can bring in 5 guests with you anytime you come in. For me, that was a bargain. I can bring my sons in, my grandson, my granddaughter. And they can bring friends if they want to come back over. And so I thought it was a pretty good deal.
We're misbehaving yesterday, we are.
So my commander's project for this year, they do raffles. Okay. Thank you. Really kind of made it my thing this year was to bring the American Legion, the Sons together today, because I always think there's a little division. I don't really understand why. We've had a couple of really serious instances here in the state of Oregon that really stood out. And so, I mean, leaders became committed.
Post-level stuff?
There's auxiliary wanting to continue to learn one post. Just moved on to stuff. They wanted to continue on doing what they do.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? There is a black Cherokee Jeep outside that needs to be moved away from the RV area.
What's that? Say that again. N-E-U.
You, Beverly?
Bravo Echo.
Oh, Bravo Echo.
She's gonna
We
blame it on
got
me.
the, we got the,
Oh,
we found the driver.
Blame it on me.
Tell them they'll be right out.
They'll be right out.
Give them the ticket.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
So yeah, we kind of worked on that.
Did that get resolved?
Yes. And so my whole thing was, we do raffles for the EDC. Commander's Park. Last EDC, I gave the money to the auxiliary. This time, all the proceeds for this raffle that we're doing, Sergeant at Arms and my wife Judy is right there. They're selling the tickets, and they do it every time. They do a pretty good job. This time it goes to the sales. Check or cash. It's a nice gesture. It makes me feel good. There's a lot of things we can use it for. I mean,
Are they anticipating this, or is it kind of a surprise?
it should be a surprise this time, but I think they may have gone into it. I don't think so. But nonetheless, there's so many funds out there that we can take care of. I just want them to know, giving them kudos, we really appreciate what we do.
Oh, I don't need a mic. I got a big mouth. First, I want to thank you guys for coming. It's an honor to have you all here. We make sure you have your little red tickets or your white tickets in front of you on the table with the number facing up.
I don't have one.
The auxiliary ladies from Unit 21 will bring the plates out, and they will bring it out by the number on your ticket. They're going to come
Right
out,
behind
for
you, Judy.
instance, if you've got 31, they're going to say 31.
behind you.
Please raise your hand and we'll deliver the plates to you.
She has hot
Does
coffee.
that make sense? Okay, got it.
Thank you, dear.
Warmed up?
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Tomorrow morning, we will be No, but I anticipated it was going to be early. Well, Lewis planned on breakfast at 7, and I said, no,
Number 7.
leaving by 7.
Number 7. It's supposed to be up here.
Oma, you got that?
I got that, sweetheart.
All right, dear.
And my Judy.
Wow. That should have been yours.
I wouldn't eat it all.
I had to take a picture of that. I live close to Good God. That
Nice.
is a side of beef.
There you go, buddy.
You gotta turn it on. You gotta push the red button down in 2 seconds. Little red button right there.
Is it 56?
I got it on.
You're too late, man.
Crying out loud. What's that? Absolutely, and got some photos up inside there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Need another fork.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay.
Huh. You must be hungry.
Number 40.
Is that 40 or is that HD for head table?
That's 40.
I got one.
40?
I got one.
Okay.
And my aide over there is going to stand up. He's another one.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Jump right in there. Where do I start?
Doggone it. I think they should have done the head table first.
Holy smokes! Is that a cow or is that a cow?
It's cow.
You may. Thank you.
Number 8. Number 8. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Right here.
Help him, help him. Hey, Lynn, we're going to have enough for the next 2 nights? Or Monday, it looks like Monday night either.
I don't know. You know, we did. We told him to take it.
You tell our grandson that she can lead into
bed early without it just not working.
especially the youngest.
Did you notice that sauce had a little bite to it? Like spicy?
You know, I didn't really get much of it.
There's little.
Horseradish sauce.
Well, this here is, it's got these little tiny, I know, accents of some sort, but, kind of like pepper. Oh, man. Really good.
25?
It's white.
Was it 25? Yeah. 25, 25, 25, 25. 25. 25. 25's up there. 25. Look at us.
He's hungry.
Is there any more cows left in Missouri? He's hungry.
There's an extra in the back, and they're feeding it.
Oh, my.
Wow.
Let me check him out. I want my wife to get a bigger one.
No. Got it, sweetie, it's heavy.
That's
2 pounds of meat there.
Barry, I thought it was a quarter pound.
35. 35.
This is a big one. Whoa. I don't think there's any more cows left in the county here. Yeah? Is that a producer provider? Yeah. It's out in
32.
Did you go out there today? Yeah. They have a good crowd? Fantastic.
41.
We need to do more of that. Get our business.
So where's the next stop?
Might need a takeaway bag later on.
Well,
Anything else?
I'm gonna have a hard time finishing this, but thank you.
Shake it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Doggy bag for you, right?
Probably. I live close enough, I can take advantage of it. Well, Phoenix. I could be wrong, but isn't Phoenix a little chilly this time of year? Or is it more sunny than chilly?
You can look at the temperatures. It's supposed to be in the 60s.
And that's golfing weather.
For me, I'm not a golfer, so
No?
never really had the opportunity to take that up.
Well, you know, us guys at work, we never get good at it anyhow. But it's fun to go hit the ball. I was a baseball player when I was young, and my dad golfed a little bit. I was too short for basketball.
45. 4-5.
Yeah, he does. Right over. Number nine. Number three. Hey, there's no more cows walking in this county. What would you? You like the march in there?
Well, we're gonna fill it quickly.
We're not done yet.
Oh, yeah. I'm picking at it. I'm moving things around. Potatoes are heavy. Meat's heavy.
Save room for dessert.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I even ate a little bit of my biscuit or whatever you want to call that. It was pretty good. Yeah.
Butter if you want it.
Hang around it.
He said something to me and I just started laying him down. I guess, don't you do it? Raise your hand, don't you do it?
Well, even with some new officers, changes, new adjutant this year, it was a little rough start. Everybody kind of started to gel together. It was a little frustrating for everybody. Me, Lou, my first vice, second vice, whatever he was. Just threw everybody away. It was just a tough year, man. Starting out. I really believe that
Number 7.
we're all a little strong. District commanders are good. We had 2 district commanders that had to fill in for 2 different reasons, and they stepped up. Yes, ma'am.
How did you get that?
I can bless this and feed the whole
How did I get what? Oh, they just forgot to grab it.
Oh, yeah, that's 13 years ago.
They forgot to take the tickets and check it off the list.
Well, they've got all the tickets across in the kitchen. You forgot to put it.
13 years ago, man.
You would think.
2000. It was in
over in Warm Springs.
I'm gonna call you up here for that joke.
The Post has been really kind of just barely hanging on for a long time. Back in 2008, I was going over there. I did lead training in 2008 for the American Legion of Fighters over there. Jim?
Excuse me, Tom, I have to ask National Commander Tyler.
Okay.
That is
Number 13.
Richmond.
that's all I need. You'll know why.
So, anyhow, this year all of a sudden they popped up. They had 13 members in the post that had meetings. So, Charlie Taylor, the old representative chief out there on the reservation, every year he puts on a Vietnam Veterans Welcome Home Parade. I've been out there for 3 years. They always give us this food, and they feed us, and it's just wonderful. It feels a little camaraderie out there. But just one of those things this year. It just kind of, things just started moving. I don't know what else to say. Our numbers aren't really good, but they're not really good. I'm hoping that we can actually get our 100% and move on beyond that. I think we can do it. I really do. With the team we got this year, when I first came in, I knew it. We had some special people.
Yeah, you just gotta. My mantra is just don't give up on them, you know. When they give up, that's when you need to jump in and help. Some of them just, you know, they'll get to a point where they hit that brick wall and they just say, I can't do anymore. You know, there's nothing else to be had. No better than that.
Yeah.
30. 30.
Let me know. Have me to get mine up.
37. 31.
Like bingo?
I'll share.
Me too.
Enough for about 3 of them.
Well, you can if you like. Okay. Sure.
When they do that whole coffee thing, let them get these people food.
43. 43. Who knows about it?
She said, yeah.
21.
Right hand.
21.
Don't take that. We live stream the national convention, so go ahead and live stream. Kevin Barnett.
Oh, Kevin Barnett. Oh,
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, is this what this guy's doing?
Uh-huh.
So who's he streaming it?
Man, your wife's
Okay, dear. Thank you.
yeah. Brett knows very nice. Well, I hope.
Oh yeah, she's always.
Phyllis, you're eating again?
I'm sure he knows.
Tommy, would you like a side of Brontosaurus?
No, thank you.
Just tell him, you know, in case the staff hasn't told him.
Did National, your office tell you that you're being live streamed on your speech?
live stream where?
I called Kevin Barnett and asked him. He said, we live stream the convention and stuff, so yeah, go ahead. And they told me that they were going to take care of it and let you know.
Nobody said anything to me, but that's fine. That's fine. I'm used to. I'm just, where are they live streaming to? Their
Just
website.
the local radio station, from what I was told.
Nice.
You can look it up and see. Look up their Facebook page and see what's going on.
They did not tell him, but he said, okay, and I'll take care of that money.
Hey Lou, it's not an issue at all.
I'm not going home.
I mean, sure they'll say, but
Free media.
It's good.
always good.
Wilsonville doesn't give me what he said, he didn't take care of it. That's what I'm stupid because I'm
You know, I do ice cream up at the hospital. One flavor that's really good.
So, is coffee possible?
Raspberry
I'd like regular.
nephew tries
Huh? If you have like equal or something like that and cream, yes.
3-gallon bucket.
Well, you come prepared.
We got it down to about a third of it.
Yeah, back on the Starbucks.
Was it? They got one in Albany.
They're the host.
At Albany, too.
I tell you what, I'll share mine.
Yeah, I only ate half of mine too.
Number
There you go. Thank you, dear.
Well, I think we got some there, but well, thank you.
Max at Bowling Air Force Base, 1975. I said, yeah, you told me 1971. He said, no, as I recall, I'm sure it was Bowling. So we'll see. We'll see. Small world, right?
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
See, when she's with a group of people, she talks too much and doesn't eat. The commander said you can have his too if you want.
Yes, please. I'm not going to eat that.
I had this last night for dinner, so we only have a piece in our room that's probably that big.
You've got kids and grandkids, right? Well,
Yeah. I think we got more
I'm
than
done with it.
Well, they've got dogs that live out back too, so. I'm pretty sure they're not going to throw any of that meat away, I'll guarantee you, man.
49.
Phyllis finally got something to eat.
Sorry, Phyllis. It's time for the commander's speech. Can't eat now.
No, not that soon. Not that soon.
Next morning. You got the
But I guess that's all right. I don't need the knife.
Bad thing about hog
How's the prime rib, Commander?
Too much of it. It's excellent, but just way too much food.
We had 15 consecutive nights at banquets, prime rib.
Well, you know, my experience was traveling Kansas, and every meal we had in Kansas on the road was pulled pork. Pulled pork for the post we went to.
They raised a lot of hogs there.
Apparently so. And then when we were in Indiana, whatever the meat was, it sometimes varied, but we always had green beans and mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
So
when I was in Georgia, it was always strawberry shortcake. Every place, strawberry shortcake.
Well, I got to tell you what, that's on my list is, you know, either fresh fruit or strawberry shortcake.
Yeah.
So I've seen a little bit of that along the way.
How you doing, sir?
Well, I got lost and I ended up in McMinnville.
It's all good. How's things been? Everything good?
I did, sir.
Yeah.
I gotta get to the granddaughter tomorrow.
Oh. Yeah. Now that's
4 weeks.
Huh? 4 weeks.
13 hours and 17 minutes. Let her keep it track. I had her in this alarm.
Don't you dare.
23.
You and Grandma will be fighting. I am. Oh, I'm traveling.
51, 5-1, 51.
Okay, I'll just keep it. Thank you. Apple pie be okay.
Would you like it to Del Bug, sir?
I have no place to take it, so. But if there's anyone else who would like it, they must. Yeah, I am. I filled up on the meat, so thank you. And the salad, by the way.
Number 4.
Drive to San Diego. I can't see the
Good. We're happy, we're content, we're stuffed.
Yes, ma'am, I'm done.
That's why you did, well, you're both naughty, that's why you don't. You gotta wash dishes first. Oh, and I didn't get
You're digging a hole.
I'd like to introduce the Commander's Cave, Commander Salamander.
So what you want to do is soak in oxygen. My wife and I, when I was
You got to tell them the job is
16.
I got a couple of stories I have to tell
He had passed department commander. In Oregon, our vice commander progressed up to the chair.
It's not, there's no automatic ascension.
There isn't in Washington either. They're divided into 4 area vice commanders.
Yeah, ours are like that. We have three vice commanders because we have 3 regions. So those regions can promote somebody to be the vice commander. But it kind of has to go through an approval process to make sure that they meet the standards that are necessary for it. But there's no ascension from one to another. So some have the ability to become a It's super penny. I'm going to leave there. Probably close to as long as I've been. 38 years. He was also the best man. So I figured I could tolerate him. Shoot.
You know, Joe Jackson. Him and his wife were married the same day, the same year.
Joe and Josephine. Celebrate together. Joe is a character.
You know, and he's good friends with Kevin Owens. He just rubbed me wrong one day, and I get along with him.
put it in a bag with
I get the impression sometimes somebody just kind of thinks I am.
Yeah, because I think he's got and you know, whenever Connecticut has a department convention, or is invited to I've seen, you know, some of those New England states, they invite each other to their stuff.
You know, when Charlie was campaigning, and he went to Connecticut. Connecticut is the only department that did not.
Are you done eating? Did you eat?
Yeah, you make it not.
I had one department that to me, and I can't remember which. Oh, it was
That wasn't beef, that was a dinosaur.
And I didn't even know it, but, you know, I gave him a car for us and I figured that's all I was going to pay. Next thing you know, my credit card was still for the room. And I said, well, I'm not going to make a deal out of it because I have a candidate.
Well, you know, you come to Oregon, you don't.
Well, that's
Bill Oxford was here last June. It's like he was trying to buy up midnight breakfast.
We go way back.
I can pay for my own here in Oregon.
Yeah.
We know what it's like. You know, you're going to need that money.
No dessert.
not me. Not me.
Like Charlie said, they went out to lunch at Connecticut. He ended up buying Joe's lunch.
Oh, really?
Lynn.
Well, I have a, you know, I think I have an in with Connecticut. I lived there when I was in New York.
Oh, okay.
Not that I knew any of them or anything, but
I told him don't even bother coming. But don't they have a lady president?
they did, but not any longer.
The one that was in line for national commander?
Yeah, they got rid of her.
Yes, told Charlie, don't bother
She had created some waves or did something that she wasn't supposed to do, and they showed her the door. But apparently, Homer still lets her make decisions with regard to the
She shouldn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, but apparently there's a history in her father and Jake knew each other pretty well, and Jake remembered her when she was a little kid.
Number 2.
Oh yeah, I heard about it. And then maybe one thing I heard when I visited there, I get a call one day and it's Jake, and he says, when you were in Vermont, you have a conversation, something to do with with them not being upset or something. The adjutant and I said, yeah, they kind of, one guy in particular kind of blasted at me about how she was able to make decisions in the department, not even now any longer, persona non grata, I guess. But he says, well, what did you say? And I said, I told him, I said, it's none of, I have nothing to do with that. I said, you got to go to the source if you got an issue with it, because it's nothing I have any authority to deal with. And,
27.
frankly, it's a candidate. So he says, well, that's the right answer. That's what I was told. He said, I think he was testing me.
He's got one for you. Yeah, he's got 2.
But that's not the only place. New York's got the same. It is what it is,
Supposedly for the same cause, but we're all not in
That is very true.
We have a gentleman here. He's been a surgeon.
Third.
He works at White City, which is a VA facility. He's as a volunteer, but he's there all the time. He does everything and anything he can.
How many meals did not come out? How many meals did not come out?
Always has to me. You'll be with him if you go down. He's already called me 4 times this morning. This issue and that issue. He's a great guy, but he's just great.
That is sweet.
Chalkboard.
Yeah, that's where I buy mine.
You know, and he loves that, so he comes up every so often. Stays 3 or 4 days. Goes over the book, make sure everything balances. helps out our, our finance gal, and she's having all that good friends. And you never ever ask me, Ben, how much spent on it. This great guy.
We got a little heads up here, we've got an emergency going on. The emergency is the commander has a raffle, and y'all are supposed to take part in this for the baskets. And those of you who don't partake, you're going to be in the next emergency. We have, the tickets are $6 or $5. They're in the next room. Please go over and take a look and take your option there. Everyone should get 6 tickets.
You don't take Confederate.
We also have a club 50-50. Okay, the SAL and the Commanders Project is at 50-50 program.
Did you hear about
So please take part in that. And I'm going along with sorry, I've already got a date.
But he went to school, he's a straight A student. He goes to school, $20 buys his school. $9 bill is
Right now,
he gave him 10 days in school suspension. His dad's going, wait a minute. He says, I got that in jail. They said, we don't care where it came from. We have a no tolerance on kids that money in this school, and rules are rules.
Anybody that did not get their meal,
The kid's supposed to know that,
please,
right?
this is who's going. Not gonna put up with that.
They had it in writing in the school rules,
With that,
So that idiot that jumped off the cruise ship down on the Bahamas, him and some friends were on a cruise for one of their birthdays. This guy's like 27 years old, jumps off the 11th deck of the cruise ship. And so the cruise ship kicked him and his buddies off. He had to pay by all of his airplanes tickets home.
We have carrot cake. Take your pick. Which one would you like?
Yes. Sure.
Yeah, carrot cake for me too, please. You could just set it right here. We'll take care of it.
Here you go, sir.
Thank you.
Come back here. Okay.
Bring it on. I can't hold them all. Hey, you have to give Jones. I doubt he'll try.
Look at this. Look at this.
What would you like?
I'm good.
What did I pass up? You mean you guys didn't get me cheesecake?
You weren't here, they didn't.
I know. I'm not glad to get by me now. I know it's here.
Which one would, what do you want?
Cheesecake.
The chocolate or the berry?
I'll do the berry.
Okay.
Very, very.
Awesome.
Thank you, dear. So, isn't that space?
We're going back over here.
I've heard of move your feet and lose your seat, but move your feet and lose your dessert? What's up with that?
Jerry? Berry.
Right this way. Be my friend. Thank you very much. That's perfect. Awesome, dear. Thanks.
Thank you.
I'll take this.
What trip?
That's okay. You can do that. Sorry if it's good. Hey, Kevin. Little soft serve on top of that.
Hey, we could look toes.
There's this place down below Rosemary called Tolley. It's an old-fashioned ice cream place. First time I went there, Kevin talked about the banana split. They were $9. I finished mine, Kevin didn't finish his. Wow. They were huge.
So you've got more than your $10 worth.
People still eating, and I thought maybe after everybody got done eating, we'd take like maybe a 10-minute break. People just got served, so any problem just going right into, some of them maybe eating, we're going to do introductions.
I don't think that's really a problem. I don't think so. We can let them know. It's been a busy evening, and it's been a lot of service, but we're going to fall behind if we don't maybe kind of step up a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and do some introductions. I think that's the right thing to do. Yeah. He's finishing up his cake.
I don't want people straggling in and out, straggling back in when we're talking.
Right.
Left in the restroom.
What's it got on the back of it?
Go ahead.
Well, I think some more coffee would do.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people still eating.
Yes.
Jim want to eat? I'm going to bring him up here and tell a joke.
He's actually getting dessert, it looks like.
Oh. Okay. As soon as he gets eating dessert, right?
Are you getting dessert right now? Okay, yeah. He said something about like this. Now, looks like he just got done with his plate.
Here we go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, you know what?
didn't get you any more condiments.
I don't need it. Okay. I'm all right.
Ladies and gentlemen, has everybody had enough to eat yet? Well, I think there's no more cows in the county, because that's a lot of prime beef. Is Jim Willis in the crowd? Past Department Commander Jim Willis, would you come up, please? You know, 9 years ago, at the mid-year DEC in Lebanon, I had the opportunity to be MC, and I don't know how I drew it again, but Jim Willis is really our master of ceremonies in this department. And I was talking to Jim and 3 other gentlemen out in the outer room earlier this evening, and I said, you know, I'm going to fill Jim's shoes tonight. And I said it's going to be a tough job because I'm not a joke person. I like to just move things on. Of course, these dinners usually do drag on a little bit, but Jim says, well, I got a joke I'll do for you. I said, what kind of joke? He said, well, any Presbyterian would mind hearing it. I said, okay. So, Jim, I don't know how many Presbyterians are here. Let's go for it.
Okay, all you Presbyterians, raise your hand. If you're a Presbyterian, raise your hand.
You're a lone soldier.
Okay, looks like it's the 2 of us. Okay.
That's the joke.
You know, I'm looking up here at the podium at the paperwork, and it reminds me of a story I wasn't going to tell, but I got to tell this. There was a Supreme Court justice who was speaking at a banquet, and just before him was the associate director of the FBI. And the associate director made a wonderful speech. And so the fellow from the Supreme Court came up, and the associate director had left his speech on the podium. So the person from the Supreme Court gave exactly the same speech. So I'm not going to read what it says here, where it says Brett P. Reistad was elected National Commander of the American Navy. No, I'm not going to do that. I could, but I'm sure that's someone else's responsibility. You probably are NEC man.
Stealing my speeches before.
So, in all seriousness, I want to make our National Commander feel at home here in Oregon. So I will tell you what happens in Virginia, where he is from. Every year in Virginia, in Richmond, they have the state fair. It's a big deal. Most every state is very proud of their state fair, and trust me, Virginia is proud of theirs in Richmond. Now, there was a couple who had been going to the state fair for a number of years, and when they would go into the state fair, there was a sign there that said, helicopter rides $50. Now, if you've heard this, I don't care, because I'm going to tell it anyway. Primarily because I like to tell it. So they go in the state fair, helicopter rides $50. The husband says to the wife, oh, I've never been on a helicopter. Let's do that. She said, no, we are not. $50 is $50. We're not doing it. Well, they went to the state fair every year, and every year that sign was there. Helicopter rides $50. And he said to his wife, I'd sure like to go on a, no, we're not going on a helicopter. $50 is $50. The state fair comes around, they celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary. He is 85 years old. They go in the state fair, there's the sign, helicopter ride, $50. He said, honey, can we please go on the helicopter? I'm 85 years old. She says, no, $50 is $50. The pilot heard them talking, and he came out and said, if you get on my helicopter and ride with me and you don't say a single word, I'll do the whole flight for free. And the old man and the old lady looked at each other and said, okay, let's do that. They got on the helicopter and he took them up. They went all over the sky, back and forth above Richmond, Virginia. And finally he started to come back in for a landing. And he got on the headset and he said to the old boy in the back, he said, I'm really proud of you guys. I thought you would say something by now. And the old boy said, well, you know, when the old girl fell out back there, I started to say something, but you know, $50 is $50. There you go.
That's always a problem.
Now that's a story from Richmond by God, Virginia. Okay. Now, final story goes like this. You know, we have a love-hate relationship with the media, with the press. But in America, we need to get along with them. Thank God we have a free press in our country. A young reporter was assigned by his editor to go out to this senior citizen center and interview this 80-year-old woman. And why was he interviewing her? Because it was her birthday. And why else? Because she just announced that she was going to get married to the local funeral director. So he went out and interviewed this lady, and she was just a pistol, unbelievably hilarious. And he said, well, you're getting married to the local funeral director, and you're 80 years old. Is this your first marriage? She said, oh no, I've been married 3 other times. You know, when I was in my 20s, I married a banker. And you know, when I was in my 40s, I married a circus ringmaster. And when I was in my 60s, I married a preacher. And now, I'm going to marry the funeral director. And the young reporter said, oh my goodness, your husbands had quite a different career that they did. Let's see, you were married to a banker, and then you married a circus ringmaster, and then a preacher, and now you're marrying the funeral director. Oh my goodness. Well, can you tell me how did this happen? And she said, well, I married 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready, and 4 to go. Thank you.
You can always count on Jim Willis for a joke or two.
Oh, yeah.
I tell you what, our guest violinist has agreed to do one more number. Is that a rumor, or is that?
No, it's a fact.
Would you like to do it now?
She wants to play.
What's that?
She just wants to play.
Okay. We it's for those of you who are still eating, we'll continue eating, and if you'd like to do your number, and then after her number, we'll take a quick 10-minute break to get the show on the road. Okay? You need this? You need this?
Yeah, I will use it. How much time do I have?
What do you need? About how much you need? 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Okay.
Okay?
Quite a way to play, so.
Did she really?
She doing, well, I don't know. I don't know if she's from Albany or she's
Sweet Home, which is
Sweet Home?
just on the east side of Lebanon.
Yeah. So that's 20.
Where we went.
As opposed to Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah, not there, but where we went to the Veterans Day today. It's another, was it 20 miles? Not even 20.
So we got too far. That must be Mom over there.
Yes.
What's her name?
Is it Lena? I don't have anything with her name. I think it's Lena. Hey, Dale. Hey, Dale. That young lady's name, is it Lena?
Mariah.
Mariah. Excuse me.
M-O-R-I-A-H.
She did say that too. It's Mariah. Yep.
And the wind was called Mariah. Neighbor's gonna be over your house tomorrow. That's the neighborhood.
There you go. Your center stage.
So for my last song, I will be performing Music for the Royal Fireworks by Handel.
Thank you very much. Very nice. At this time, we'll take a 10-minute break, and when we come back, we'll get down to business. 10 minutes, please.
That was Moriah. Moriah. God, what a great 12-year-old.
Hey,
6.
No kidding.
Wow.
Okay. Okay, we're going to get into introductions next.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, hon. We're going to do introductions. You heard me. I'll introduce my district commanders and our officers. Okay.
I'll be in there.
Okay, so I've got my chaplain, Mr. Schollenberg, Steve, and got my finance officer.
Okay.
It's Bob Huff. I'm just going through my mind. That's okay. I've got them all.
Okay, what I'm going to try to do is get the kitchen help out here when we get back in this section. And as soon as we do the kitchen help here, first
sure. Just for make a comment or two, and then thank everybody and introductions. Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
I'm good, sir. Thank you. David Applegate. Anyway, sir. What do you think, Ron? And then we have a toast. We're going to need to have something to toast with. Hope everybody's got a drink or something. Water. Okie dokie. I have a little bit of glass.
This is Charlie's water and I'm sharing it.
Okay.
Don't tell it.
I'm not even going to drink it. I'll just use it for my toast. I've got the first toast. Yeah. Yeah. It'll be, Mr. Commander, I would like to propose a toast, and Mr. Commander says, ladies and gentlemen, please rise and raise your glasses, and then proceed. I propose a toast to the United States of America, land of the free and home of the brave. Home of the free and land of the brave. And I said that to him, and he said, well, I'm not sure about that. And when I got here, he said, you were right. I said, you had me questioning myself at that point, you know. Yeah. We can all make mistakes. It's okay. You know what? I've grown so much. I've gotten so much out of the American Legion. I mean, I know I've spent a lot of money, like most of us do, but I've gained so much out of it. Yeah, so it's been good for me, and this year especially I've traveled around more than I have in the past. But I think it kind of happens. You got to get out there. It happens. And I haven't been able to go everywhere as I want to go, but there's been a lot of things I've done too with helping with the programs. Baseball's been a big one, and then going out to these posts, and I know that they're having trouble, but they go stale. You get somebody working on it, and like Judy, you know, she takes four vacations, long vacations this year, and you know the post needed her, and the district needed her, the district commander, for Christ's sakes. What's that, buddy? Awesome. So anyhow. We could talk all day about that stuff, but the main thing is that we're getting out there, you know, and it's been a good year. I haven't seen you much, but I know you're running, you know, I know what you do. It's like we ran into Warm Springs at one time and I had no idea you were going to be there. It's like, you know, it just happens. And they, by the way, they picked up 13 members from Warm Springs, which blows me away. It's like, where'd that come from? I know where it came from. It was Charlie Two Feathers. He's, you know, he's the chief out there. And that gentleman over there is at the Vietnam Veterans Parade each year. So,
I didn't have one on my shirt.
yes. It is. Thanks, John, for everything. Worked out good.
Mr. Commander, we have use of her anytime we want, so she's free.
Well, you know, did she get some good donations?
$331.
Awesome. No, that's great, man. That's great. I'm very happy, and I'm proud of her for being here, and I'm proud of you for bringing it to our attention, and I'm proud of the Team 100 in front of us here that actually.
I wanted a good picture to take pictures of everybody's faces.
Their expressions.
She started playing, man.
Yeah, the
there
expressions.
There were some that were just total.
That's awesome, buddy.
That's how I felt when I first heard her.
Yeah, well,
she was only practicing.
It's absolutely perfect, man.
There we go.
Well, we'll be jumping into it here pretty quick. We got a couple minutes left.
As soon as we get
I'm going to be introducing our district commander, so I'll be calling you guys to stand up, and I'm going to keep you standing. We're going to get a round of applause, and I'm going to thank all of you for a great job that you're doing this year.
All right. Hey, I made 80%. I'm over 91 for my post. So
God bless you, buddy.
I've got more to get.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your last chance to get those tickets for those gift baskets in the other room. And we're going to begin in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I think there's a song about that.
What do you think? I'm pretty good. Well,
Very nice.
well, thank you. I try hard.
I even like the American flag and the colors just a little different.
It is different. That's why I keep it. It's different. But I've had it for a long time. I got my college pin back after I ran over. It got ran over by a car. I left my cover in the plastic bag on the hood of my truck, and when I took off, it slid off, and it was down on the street. So it got ran over by a few cars first, and then a bicyclist came by, knew where post 158 was, and that's what they seen was the 158 on the cover. And they thought, oh, that must have something to do with that. So they took it home with them. There was a guy, a 10-speeder, and he called up the post, said, hey, I got this hat. Well, we don't know anything about that. Well, I came in and said, you know what, I'm looking for my cover. I did that gig downstairs. Did anybody find a hat? And the bartender, Benny, said, well, funny you should ask about that, because some guy called us about 2 weeks ago, said he found one on the road. And I said, can you remember the number? Well, no. I said, can you get me the phone record? She said, probably. So she did. I went through every single number that nobody knew, and I started calling them all, and I got the guy. And he gave me my hat back. I still have it, but it had a hole in it, so I had it sewed up with some special thread. And my Marine Corps honorable discharge pin, my original, was there too. And the pin was bent a little bit, but it didn't get run over directly. But this guy did, and it just blew it apart. They gave me a new one. I sent back and they checked the records. Yes, I did go to the American Legion College in 2011. So
And the newspapers.
Absolutely.
But anyhow, as far as the department goes, I think everything's moving along pretty good. It started out a little bit rough. We had a new adjutant. He didn't really know everything he needed to know, but he's a good enough guy that he worked his way through it. Steve and I had some bit of differences about membership, and it got pretty serious there for a while. So I just went off and did my thing, and he went off and did his thing, and we just needed to get it back together. So I think we've done that now. We do have some great tools that we can use, with mailing and everything that we're doing, as long as we sequence it properly. Because zip codes are zip codes, and if you've got zip codes in your district, and you got the district next to you, and the zip codes kind of go like this. Okay, you got members on both sides. Well,
Ladies and gentlemen, if you could find your seats, please.
Somebody has to divide those zip codes up so they're clear. These zip codes are yours, in this district, so we'll talk more about that. It's good stuff.
Play a musical chair.
Okay.
Please find your seat.
We're doing our toast, aren't we?
Yes, we are. You're going to be next.
That's perfect.
I think we've had a great meal and a great service tonight. I don't think anybody's going home hungry. But into the back of the room, we have members of Unit 21, who was our servers tonight. Let's hear it! All right! All right! Wonderful! Wonderful, ladies. And there's Dale back there. All right. And the cooks, the chefs. All right. All right. Thank you all so much for your hospitality and your great service and your great food. Thank you so much.
That's it?
Get up.
Okay.
Here, microphone.
Mr. Commander, I would like to propose a toast.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise and raise your glasses?
All right, y'all, I propose a toast to the United States of America, land of the free and the home of the brave.
Hear, hear!
Mr. Commander, I would like to propose a toast.
Proceed.
To those that have served, are serving, and will serve in the armed forces of the United States.
Hear, hear! Hear, hear!
Mr. Commander, I would like to propose a toast.
Proceed.
To the Oregon American Legion family.
Hear, hear!
Mr. Commander, I would like to propose a toast.
You may.
To the American Legion on its 100th anniversary, serving veterans, their families, and still serving America.
Hear, hear! Please be seated. All right. Hope you all got enough water to drink. At this time, we're going to have some introductions. I'd like to call to the podium our SAL Detachment Commander Ron Mitchell of Squadron 45 for his brief comments and introduction of his detachment officers. Commander?
Thank you, sir. Tom, Chris Ann. Boy, what a wonderful event tonight. The food's great, the entertainment was great. As speaking for the Detachment of Oregon, very proud to be here. It's a great DEC. The people we have here tonight is John Marsh, our chairman.
He's walking the dog.
He's walking the dog. Our alternate NEC, Larry Horn. Our past commander, Mark Cheney. Our second vice, Jeff Gordon. Historian, Steve Mays. He's walking the dog. Our adjutant, Ward Allen. Judge Advocate, Andy Millar. So, I'm going to really cut it short. So I just want to thank you all for having us, and I hope you have a great evening, and we'll see you in Lapine.
All right. Thank you, Commander. Thank you very much. At this time, I would like to welcome the Department Auxiliary President from Bay Area Unit 34, Chris Ann Owens.
I'll talk to you later about that. I'd like to thank you all for coming. It's a wonderful turnout. Love to see everybody here. And I especially would like to say, National Commander, on behalf of the American Legion Auxiliary Department of Oregon, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
I hope that you've enjoyed your visit so far. I'm just sad that you won't be here tomorrow for our Viking invasion.
And me a Norwegian.
Well, now that is something. So I would like to introduce our department officers, even if they are not here this evening. Gia Klauser, Department Vice President.
All right, Gia.
Linda Libano, Department Secretary. Karen Banks, Department Treasurer. Lori Sherman, Department Chaplain. Phyllis McDaniel, Department Historian. Artis Snyder, Department Parliamentarian. Pam Seeley, National Executive Committee Woman. Trita McGriff, Alternate National Executive Committeeman. Barbara Sumner, Department Sergeant at Arms. Linda Bullock, Department Assistant Sergeant at Arms. And will all the district presidents please stand and be recognized? Thank you, Commander.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to call on our Department of Oregon Commander Tom Harris for his comments and introduction of his officers. Commander? Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Well, I'll tell you what a great event. And again, thank you, Post 21. Let's give them a hand again. I'm telling you, what a great place. We've got a lot of great posts around the state of Oregon, and this is definitely one of them. But without further ado, I'll jump into introducing my officers from the Department of Oregon. Starting off with Stephen Schulenberg. I'll go by as they kind of line up here up front. Our chaplain. Thank you, Steve, for all of your service. Bob Huff, our finance officer, would be next in line. Our second vice commander, Don Weber. Don, thank you so much, sir. First vice commander, Steve Adams. Jump up there. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. I appreciate you all. You know, it's been. And we can't forget Gene Hellickson, our junior pass commander. Thank you, Commander Gene. And of course, Phyllis York, our forever sergeant at arms. What a wonderful gal. Thank you so much for taking care of us. Last but not least, up at the front table would be our fabulous adjutant, Lou Newbecker, the man that's helped put this whole thing together. Thank you, Lou. Oh, I thought you were going to do. Okay, I'll take care of that. And well, our National Executive Committeeman, which would be Rob Libano, and I'm looking at Brett, but Brett's supposed to be introduced by our past national commander, so I'm going to move on. And our historian, oh, yeah. The cameraman that's following me all over the state of Oregon, Glenn Phillips, for you that don't know him. And I got to tell you, what a great guy. He's really done a wonderful job at the Department of Oregon. I'm sure that our adjutant would agree. Everybody's seen him over there. He's an electrician. He's kind of a jack of all trades, great photographer, and if you just want to get a smile, just go talk to him. He's a pretty jolly guy. He'll keep you laughing. Now I'm going to go off into my district commander. So District 1, did I forget somebody?
Assistant NEC.
Alternate NEC, Andy back there. I guess I should have seen that cap, Andy. Thanks. And you know what? We are a team, and I can't do it without the team. So thank you very much for your help and your support in finding who I need to talk about. So District 1. I hear you saying Ward Allen. I didn't know that I was literally going to name everybody in the room. Ward, where are you at? There he is. Ward Allen. He's an assistant sergeant at arms. He's got so many hats. I'm not kidding you. Between the SAL and everything he does for everybody, too. Thank you, Ward, for everything that you do. Anybody else I'm missing other than my district commanders? Okay, District 1, Corey Brockman. Corey, stay standing if you would. There's only 10 of us, and this won't take too long. Renee Oler, District 2. There you are, Renee. Thank you. Please standing. District 3 is Dale Jenkins. Dale, what are you doing hiding over there, man? Mr. Santa Claus, the guy with the beard. District 4 is David Applegate now, right, David? Okay. District 5 is Greg Marvin. I don't know, and he's Vandy Mauser's filling in for Greg Marvin, District 5. District 6 is Tony Cordell.
Hey, Walt.
Where'd Tony go? Okay, so she's here, but she's not here. District 7 is Judy Johnson. There's Judy. Stand up, Judy. Okay, I got you. All right. District 8, Judy Johnson. District 8 is Larry Whitmire. Where's Larry at? There's Larry. Thank you, sir. District 9. Yeah, please stay standing. District 9 is Don Adams. That's right. Don's filling in for Steve Bergadine. Where's Don at? Well, I see him. Yeah, give him a hand anyhow. And what a great guy. He's filling in because Steve Bergadine had some medical problems, and God bless him for stepping up. And District 10 is Daniel Burks. He's I'm back there in the corner. He doesn't like recognition. He's from Ontario, but he does a great job over there. So thank you all very, very much for everything that you do. The department could not do this without you. We've had a pretty good year so far, and I know it's going to only get better because we're just getting better at what we do. With our programs, our membership, everything's really starting to look up. So thank you very, very much. And again, let's give you a round of applause. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commander.
Commander.
We got a great American Legion family team here, and you just met the leaders this year in this department. But in the past, there have been men and women who have given a full year of their time to serve in various positions in this department, the American Legion family of Oregon. Would all past detachment commanders of the Sons of the American Legion please stand and be recognized?
All right.
Woohoo! Thank you, gentlemen, for your service. And it's my honor to ask all past department presidents to please stand and be recognized. Ladies. Thank you, ladies, for your service. We couldn't get along without you. And also, on the Legion side, gentlemen have spent a year of their time dedicated to this great organization. The past department commanders, would you please rise and be recognized? Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. I would like to take a moment of personal privilege to recognize a couple individuals that have served this organization, our department, represented our department on a national level. past National Sergeant of Arms, Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens.
And the past National Commander's Aide, Don Weber.
Don.
And the former First Lady of the American Legion, my first wife, Linda. It was an honor to serve with those individuals, particularly the First Lady. You know, it was in 2006, Oregon had a National Vice Commander. If you recall, that was Harley Ray of Albany Post 10. This coming year at our National Convention, our 101st National Convention of the American Legion, that's going to be held in Indianapolis, Indiana, the Department of Oregon will have a National Vice Commander candidate. Yes. And at this time, I would like to introduce that candidate for further introduction. That is our NEC man, Rob Liebenow.
Thank you, Charlie. No, when we get to National Convention, I told Linda one of her jobs was going to be to go up on stage and nominate me. She said, no, that's Charlie's job. You know, all day as I've taken the National Commander around, I've told you that I would do a more formal introduction this evening, and I will do that in just a moment. But I wanted to recognize someone who does not get a lot of recognition, but he's right there with the National Commander throughout his year. That's the aide to the Commander, and this year it is Ken Knight.
Hi, Ken.
And I don't know the story behind it, but I told it's AKA Commander Salamander. You know, and I always kind of wondered, what does an aide do? So here last week, I was in the department, and Don Weber was in there, and being a past aide to a national commander, I asked him, what does the aide do? So you know what I'm telling you is the truth, because Don wouldn't lie, and you've never caught me in a lie. But he said, he caught you in a lie?
She got you.
Yeah, you don't lie to her, you always get caught. But Don said, you know, the aide is a very important person to the national commander. He gets up an hour before the commander. He gets ready for the day. He goes over the commander's agenda to make sure everything is in order. And then he wakes up the national commander, makes sure he brushes his teeth and shaves, puts on the appropriate clothing for the day. He makes sure that the agenda is followed so we don't get behind at any one time during the day.
Don, you did not do that for Charlie. Right on time.
And you know, and when they're leaving a hotel and going on to another state, he had to make sure that the commander's bags are packed and down in the lobby. When they get to where they're going, he's got to make sure they're up in his room, and he unpacks them and puts them away for the commander. He makes sure the commander gets to bed on time. And the one that really threw me was when if the commander is invited to a black tie social and they have a formal dinner, it is the aide's job to stand behind and to the left of the commander with a napkin. In case he drools down his chin, he's got to make sure that that does not get to the commander's shirt. Is that right?
Oh, you're going to make him admit that in front of Charlie, right?
Okay, I'm going to read this just as it came off the hot press the other day on my printer. This is what National sends out. I'm sure they could do a better job. I know the information they put out on our national vice commanders is lacking, but they do a pretty good job on our national commander. It says, Brett P. Wrightstad was elected National Commander of the American Legion on August 30th, 2018 in Minneapolis during our 100th National Convention. He has been a member of the nation's largest veteran organization since 1981. He resides in Manassas, Virginia, and he is a life member and past commander of Post 270 in McLean. The Department of Virginia reached an all-time high in membership while he served as department commander from 2005 to 2006. He's retired as a lieutenant with the Fairfax County Police Department after 26 years of service and began a second career as a law enforcement service coordinator for the Regional Organized Crime Information Center of the Regional Information Sharing System Program. That is a mouthful.
It is. It is.
A congressionally funded law enforcement investigative assistance program of the U.S. Department of Justice. He holds a B.S. degree in criminal justice from Virginia's Bluefield College. Brett's American Legion membership eligibility is through his honorable Vietnam War era service, 1974 to 1978, as an active duty U.S. Army infantryman, where he served with the Presidential Salute Battery of the 3rd U.S. Infantry Regiment, known as the Old Guard, at the historic Fort Myer, Virginia. He participated in the inaugural ceremonies of President Carter and other high-profile ceremonies. He has since been honored as a distinguished member of the regiment. Brett has served at every level of the American Legion. He is a past president and honorary life member of the National American Legion Press Association. He recently completed a 6-year appointment as chairman of the Department Legislative Committee and 2 3-year terms as gubernatorial appointee to the Commonwealth of Virginia Joint Leadership Council of Veterans Service Organizations, where he helped coordinate the input of 23 veteran service organizations in crafting veteran-friendly legislation and advocating for the proposed legislation before the Governor and General Assembly. He is also a tenured past department historian and was recently bestowed an honorary life membership by the National Association of Department Historians of the American Legion. He is a past Legionnaire of the Year from Post 270 and a member of the Sons of the American Legion Squadron 10 in Manassas. His wife Jessica and his family are proud members of the American Legion family. His theme as National Commander is Celebrating Our Legacy, with special emphasis on the organization's centennial. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you our National Commander, Brett P. Wrightstad.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Past National Commander Charlie, Commander Tom, NE Seaman Rob, President Chris, Commander Ron, distinguished guests, fellow members of the American Legion family, good evening.
Good evening.
What a great day it's been here in Oregon. I want to thank the entourage that has been leading me around. They've been doing a wonderful job, and we've had the opportunity to make some visits today and talk to the auxiliary, talk to the DEC, talk to the Sons, get to spend a little bit of time over at the museum. What a wonderful museum you have. An hour and a half is not enough time to be able to see that museum, but I took a flurry of photographs, and that's just going to have to serve me until I have an opportunity to come back. I want to thank the young lady Mariah. Did a wonderful job with the violin.
Absolutely.
I am in total awe of her talent, and I spoke to her mother for a moment. She had like maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 years of basic theory on the violin, and then learned the rest on what was it, YouTube? Yeah, wow, you know. And she's got a future ahead of her, there's no question. And then there's this guy, Jim Willis. Good friend of mine. He's missed his calling. But thank you for your humor this evening. It's always great to break the ice. Listen, I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. I only wish that my stay could be longer. I am honored, I am privileged, and I am humbled to be serving as your national commander this year. I spent 13 years of my Legion career as a department historian. And unbeknownst to me, those 13 years, I believe, prepared me pretty well for this year. Because, of course, the focus for this year is our centennial. And I hope I have a few things that I can bring to the table and maybe enlighten some of you as to the history of our first 100 years of service in the American Legion. It's one of the things I like to do because I like to read Legion history books. I like to jot down notes of the things that I see, and they come in particularly useful this year because inevitably something that I mentioned is something that somebody here in this audience probably doesn't know about the American Legion. So I want to talk to you just for a few minutes and mention some of the things that the American Legion's been involved in over the last 100 years. The American Legion in the 1920s was responsible for the creation of something called the United States Veterans Bureau, which is today's Department of Veterans Affairs. What we don't realize is that when our service members came back from World War I, there was a very poor infrastructure in place, hospital-wise, resource-wise. This country is not used to dealing with world wars at that time. So the Legionnaires banded together when they got home, and their intention was to create an infrastructure in the United States that would support their fellow service members, their fellow veterans that came back wounded and maimed, to create an infrastructure that would also serve the widows and orphans of those service members. And the United States Veterans Bureau came about as a result of Legion working with Congress and getting Congress to bring 3 disparate federal agencies together into one and to begin building hospitals all around the country. So I just want you to know that we are stakeholders with the Department of Veterans Affairs. And in that capacity, when they do a good job, we pat them on the back, and when they stray off course, we're one of the first to help them get their direction back in place. It was the American Legion that sat down at the table with other veteran service organizations and other patriotic organizations to write what later became the United States Flag Code, which is still in effect today. You're probably aware that one of our past national commanders, Harry Comery from Kansas, was responsible for writing the framework of the Servicemen's Readjustment Act in 1944, which is known as the GI Bill. Comery sat down in a hotel room in the Mayflower Hotel in Washington, D.C., and wrote the framework of the GI Bill on hotel stationery. And what a lot of people don't realize about the GI Bill, we would think today that it's a no-brainer that the GI Bill should pass. But back then, that wasn't the case. There were as many detractors as there were supporters of the GI Bill. In fact, the detractors were of the belief that the GI Bill, as wonderful as it sounds, would break the treasury of the United States. And it took one vote to be able to break what was essentially a tie in the favor of the GI Bill. And as a result, our returning service members, our veterans, had an opportunity to get an advanced education, to get home loans, to get business loans, and we never had, the Treasury never broke as a result of the GI Bill. In fact, it promoted prosperity like our country had never seen at the time. Today's GI Bill, the Forever GI Bill, a couple of great things came out of that. First of all, it's named after Harry Comery, who wrote the first one, which is giving the American Legion the credit it's due. Secondly, the Forever GI Bill does not have a time limit on it, like the GI Bill that most of us probably received when we served or after we served, and it can be conveyed to a family member if the recipient does not want to use the benefits themselves. The American Legion was also behind veterans' preference. So those extra 5 points that one gets when they complete an application for a federal job came about as a result of the work of the American Legion. The American Legion was also responsible for working with Congress to create what we have today, veterans committees in both the House and the Senate. And I'm going to have the honor in February at our Washington conference to be able to represent the American Legion in a joint session of the House and Senate Veterans Affairs Committees to present to them testimony in support of the Legion's legislative objectives and priorities for the next Congress, or for the next year primarily. The American Legion was also involved in promoting the Star-Spangled Banner to become our national anthem. The American Legion, you may not know this is pretty cool. The American Legion has a tie to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. For those of you that read last month's Legion magazine, you probably saw the cartoon that they do in there that's called The Lore of the Legion, and it talked about it there. But we have a founder of the American Legion. His name was Hamilton Fish. And Hamilton Fish was an officer in World War I and a founder of our organization. Fish is responsible for chairing the committee that wrote the preamble to the Constitution. Fish also was granted the honor and distinction of being a past national commander without ever being a national commander, and there are very few folks that have been given that honorary title. But Fish went on in his early years to become a congressman in the state of New York. And in that capacity, he wrote the legislation that passed that brought the unknown soldier from World War I to the United States to Arlington National Cemetery. And it was Hamilton Fish's legislation that also created the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. So we have a stake in that as well in the history of our first 100 years. I want to mention one other thing. The American Legion was very instrumental in getting the benefits for our Vietnam veterans that suffered from the health effects of Agent Orange. We in fact went head-to-head with the federal government over that, and the ultimate outcome was that many of those medical disorders that came about as a result of Agent Orange were treated and compensated for. Now we're facing another challenge I just want to make you aware of. You're probably aware of the Blue Water Navy Act. It's something that has been in the news lately, and with the end of the 115th Congress, so ended the effort to pass that legislation. But just to give you a little bit of insight as to what that is, those service members that served primarily in the Navy off the shores of South Vietnam were very well probably exposed to the same defoliant as those that served on land. And the idea behind the Blue Water Navy Act is to provide those that are suffering from similar health disorders, to provide them with the same benefits and the same medical treatment that we provided those that served on land. Now, this is a bit controversial because the VA doesn't want this legislation to pass. They want to do further studies on it, which is how they dragged their feet in the first place when we went head-to-head with them after the Vietnam War. But in its first manifestation, the Blue Water Navy Act actually passed the House of Representatives unanimously. But then it got hung up by the Senate and the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee, and there were a couple of senators that held that bill from going out on the floor of the Senate for a vote. And when the 115th Congress ended, so did the Blue Water Navy Act. But it's been reintroduced in Congress again. So when you hear about it, we may come out with a legislative alert on this at some point down the road and ask for you to contact your congressman and contact your senators and ask for your support and ask you to have them speak with their colleagues that serve on those Veterans Affairs committees to do the same. A couple of other things I want to mention because I know we're getting a little bit late here. I have the opportunity at the end of this month to go to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for what they call a first strike ceremony for our centennial coins that we worked so hard to get approved by Congress. Incidentally, if you weren't aware of it, my understanding is that those two bills, the ones in the House and the Senate, that were approved for us to get the centennial coins, had more co-sponsors attached to those bills than any other in the history of Congress. So the work that you all did collectively with your fellow Legion family across the country really sent a signal to Congress, and we'll be doing that first strike, which means that soon thereafter they're going to be minting those coins and they're going to be available to you. I'm going to ask that, there's going to be some great keepsakes. I'm going to ask that you consider buying some. The benefit to us when they're sold is the possibility of the American Legion earning up to $9 million for our programs and our charities. Because these are actually, they raise funds through the sale of these coins, and we're the beneficiary of that. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be exciting. I think that there are 3 different coins of different monetary value, but all precious metal and all certainly going to be worth more in the future. And I know that the designs, if you've seen those in the magazine, are beautiful. Another thing I wanted to mention, this past fall, the National Executive Committee met in in Indianapolis, Indiana, and passed a few resolutions. One was changing the name of, I believe it was the American Legion Endowment Fund, to the American Legion Veterans and Children's Foundation. Now, what the foundation does as a charity is the money that comes into it, of course, 100% of your contributions to this charity go directly to the charity. There's no overhead. The overhead expenses for any of the American Legion charities are from the dues that we pay the organization. So this foundation serves 2 purposes. One, to provide money to temporary financial assistance, and the other to provide money to our service officers for their training and their equipment and whatever their needs are to be able to do what they do so well. We have 3,600 veteran service officers around the world for the American Legion. That's more than any other organization has. So one of the things that's important to know about this foundation ties into something that we're promoting right now, and that is to help our fellow veterans, our fellow service members who are currently serving in the Coast Guard. So the American Legion has been providing temporary financial assistance to the Coast Guardsmen and their families who are of the ranks E5 and below. If they find themselves in a crunch and they they fill out the applications, we're streamlining those applications so that that money can be presented to them as quickly as possible to help them get through this government shutdown. But we need your continued support with this. That money doesn't last forever. There's a lot of people that want it. I am led to understand that there's already probably more than 1,000 applications that have been received around the country. I know my own department in Virginia actually shut down to regular business to do nothing but to process those applications. So it's important to them, and it's something that I think that we can reach in our pockets and make a contribution toward. There's a 1-800 number that's available. I want a 1-800. It's a 202 number. I think that's available for you to be able to call. We just put out 2 new public service announcements yesterday and today. So if you're on Facebook or you're on a Legion website or the Legion Facebook, you're probably going to see these being sent around from one person to another. But you can make these contributions to national headquarters and to the to legion.org. There'll be a link on there for this, as well as the phone number that they'll provide on the public service announcement. One last thing I want to mention, because if I don't mention membership, somebody's going to hunt me down and have a talk with me, and I would prefer that person not do that. We came into this year with a lot of hope that we were going to be able to turn around this drain in membership that we've been experiencing for a number of years. We've lost the World War II generation pretty much, with the exception of some stragglers who are still great supporters of our organization. But we've lost a generation, and that generation has really cost us a third of our membership. And we want to continue to do what we can do to keep this organization strong and relevant to our communities and to our veterans and to our youth. And what we did is came up with the theme of Team 100, and you've probably heard that before. And the idea behind Team 100 is the whole Legion family getting behind the effort to try to stop the drain of membership. Well, we've had some difficulty with the numbers already this year. We reached a point where we were about 80,000 members short of where we were at the same time last year. Hopefully those numbers are going down, but it's going to take a lot of work to continue that. The American Legion, as a result of some of these numbers coming out, we had a few meetings at Indianapolis about it and came out with some new incentives. You're probably familiar with those incentives by now. There's I think a $5 per person contribution that the national organization will make to the posts for every Legionnaire whose membership lapsed in 2014, 2015, and 2016. We also have an incentive for the departments that if you make your 100% by a certain target date, that national organization will contribute $2,500. Now, if you make 105% by a particular target date, that's an additional $5,000. So the department stands to earn as much as $7,500 as a result of that. So we're hoping that can inspire some additional efforts toward retaining some of our members and going out and getting some of our new members. A couple of things I've really been emphasizing with this is that we educate and engage. And the education component is that we have so many people in our communities that are veterans that don't know who we are as an organization. We don't carry the name veteran in our organization, in our organizational name, so oftentimes somebody, they don't make the connection between American Legion and veterans. Secondly, a lot of those people are eligible for membership in our organization and they don't know it yet. So educating our community, maybe having an open house for the centennial, inviting them to come in, let them know a little bit about our history, let them know some about our organization, and maybe we can bring in some new Legionnaires. The retain component of it is that, we know how to recruit fairly well, but we have a problem with retention. And I think the component that's missing there is the engagement. So we have a lot of people that come in through our direct mail solicitation program, through our website primarily, who are waiting to be contacted after they join. And if we don't follow up on that, and that information is available through the department, if we don't follow up on that, those people after about 2 years give up on us. And that's a terrible thing because, we love our organization, we know what it does and how it benefits our community and our veterans. If some of these people knew what we knew, they'd be members of our organization and perhaps strong volunteers in our organization. So those are a couple things that I just want you to keep in mind. One thing that we recently changed too is, I don't know if anybody in here have my membership pin. All right. Well, show them your cap there. My membership pin looks like a miniature medal, and kind of fashioned after the medals, the little miniature medals that you see on a lot of our Legion caps from the military. Okay, so you earn that by bringing in 3 brand new Legionnaires, but we've just added, if you renew 6, you can get that award as well. So hopefully some of these will be inspirational to you and we'll have some success. And I just want to thank you for all the efforts that you have already made toward that this year. And I know that your commander is working with you very strongly to make these goals. I was getting a look from him. I don't know what he thought I was going to say. So with that, listen, I want to thank you again for everything. I want to thank you for this wonderful meal tonight. I'd have a lot more to say, but look at the time, so we got to get going. My aide reminded me here after the break. He said, we got to be out the door by 7 a.m., right? So, but he's the same guy that's showing me some portrait photographs here that I am willing to sign for the posts that are represented in here. I don't know how many he brought, but probably enough to be able to accommodate most everybody that needs one for their post. So with that, I want to thank you for all you've done for me during this short visit I've had here. I want to thank you for your service to our country. I want to thank you for your continued service to your communities, to your veterans, to your youth, through your membership in the American Legion family. May God bless you, may God bless the American Legion, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Commander, for those good words. And we truly do belong to a great organization, and I think it's very special that we are going to be here, God willing, to celebrate our 100th birthday. And all those good facts that the Commander shared with us, there's a lot many more. In fact, Oregon played a little role in the development of the start of the American Legion. Lieutenant Colonel George A. White, he was the secretary to the Paris Caucus in March 1919, that got the organization going. Also, if you're in our department headquarters, look at the past department commanders' photos. There's a gentleman by the name of Robert Follett, and I believe he was from the Eugene, Oregon area. Robert Follett was one of the very first group of 5 in 1919 in the Minneapolis National Convention that was elected as National Vice Commander. 2 gentlemen from Oregon that played a part in the development and the start of this great organization. So be proud, Oregonians.
Thanks, Charlie.
You notice off to my far right, the man in the blue shirt, that is Dave Adams, and Dave is with KLYC 1260 AM radio. And when you get home, either later tonight or tomorrow or whenever you get home, you can go on Dave's, not only Facebook, but the radio station's webpage and see the Commander's comments. So thank you, Dave, for being here. At this time, I would like to invite our SAL Detachment Commander, Ron, back up for presentation. Commander Ron.
Thank you, Charlie. Work my way over here for a second. When I was in Indianapolis for DEC, I was taking a tour through the national headquarters, and I got up to the commander's office, and I was peeking through the door, and I seen him sitting there, and I thought, wow, can I meet him? So his secretary went in there, and he graciously let us come in and sit down and talked with us and take pictures. And of course, that was before I got trapped in the elevator with Willie and Joe Kaiser. So my advice, if you go to national headquarters and the elevator stops about that far above the floor, don't listen to Willie. Don't get in, because the doors close and nothing works. So we pried the doors open a little bit, and we're waving our hands out trying to flag somebody down. So, Commander, you might want to look into that little issue when you get back. So, Commander Brett, that was the highlight of my trip, was getting to sit down with you in your office and visit with you. And Indianapolis is a great place that really recognizes veterans. It was a really inspiring trip, and on behalf of the Sons of the American Legion, Detachment of Oregon. I'd like to present this to you. Now, when you open that, there's some other colors in Oregon.
Okay.
So go ahead and open it.
What are you backing up for, Ron?
What are you backing up for?
Well, yeah. Just duck.
Oh, whatever. Can't be that bad, right?
Oh, wait. Okay, so.
So there's other colors in Oregon, and they're black and orange. Those are called beavers. Don't listen to them. It's very nice to have you. Welcome to Oregon.
Thank you.
And thank you for your time in Indianapolis.
I appreciate that. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I'll wear it in Virginia. Hold on.
It's around here, it's Go Ducks, Brett. Go Ducks.
Okay.
Next, I would like to.
Thank you.
It don't make any difference. I'm a corn husker, so. At this time, I'd like to ask Chris Ann to come for a presentation. Chris?
Thank you, Charlie. Commander Brett?
Yes, ma'am.
On behalf of the American Legion Auxiliary Department of Oregon, I would like to present these to you, and hopefully they will remind you of your time with us.
Thank you. I'll open this now.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Lighthouses of Oregon.
If you have any questions, just ask Kevin. He used to take care of most of them.
Was that true? What do you mean by take care of?
He was a lighthouse technician. Yep. That's a myrtlewood tray. Myrtlewood grows on the southern Oregon coast and Jerusalem only.
The real Oregon gift.
Yes.
Oh, that's really smooth. That's nice.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you. And lots of wrapping paper. Thank you so
Yes, sir.
much.
You're welcome.
That's very nice. And I will remember.
Thank you, President Chris. And now, Commander, you have a little presentation or presentations to make?
I think so, sir. I believe there's two of them. So, our adjutant took care of some gifts. As I was running around off the far corners of the state of Oregon doing things, I asked him if he would take care of a few things, and he did. Thank God for that, because I wouldn't have been able to take care of it. And so we do have a gift for Ken Knight, the commander's aide. Ken, would you please come up here for a presentation?
Thank you!
Like this, so he can actually open this up right here. So Ken, hey, on behalf of the Department of Oregon and all of the Legionnaires here and throughout our state, congratulations for your position. I know it's pretty special.
It is.
And I know how much you care about the American Legion, and this is just to show a little bit about how much we care about what you do for our department and all the departments in the nation.
Well, thank you
So,
very much, Commander.
You're welcome to open it here, sir.
Okay, thank you. So kind.
The hotel bathroom.
There's no room in the suitcase.
Commander's going to have to sit at home because I'll hand him in my suitcase, Don, as you can well attest.
This is soap and shampoo, right?
Yeah, soap and shampoo.
Yeah, really.
Now we need a knife.
Yeah, now we need a knife.
I can't help but say I hope that's not a Beavers jersey.
Might
Oh my!
Is that, you know you're a redneck when you got more than one knife? Is that
You might be a
when you get more than one.
Oh man, I need to teach you how to use a knife.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's very nice. A book from about Oregon. That's very nice.
That probably came from Kevin Owens.
Kevin knows all about that, huh?
That's
Well, thank you, Commander, very
your
much.
appetite for a return visit.
Aye, aye, sir.
Absolutely.
I've got it.
My wife and I, we've got to go from San Francisco to Vancouver on 101, so we will be back.
All right, Ken. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Okay, and I'll take care of the box. All right, one more. And you got to know this one is for the national commander, Brett. So you're going to get to carry all this heavy stuff once you get home. Sounds like Ken's going to be carrying some extra baggage.
Am I going to need a knife too?
You may need a knife, sir.
Thank you. This is a trick. It's wrapped twice. All right.
If you want, I'll just put that right behind you, sir.
We're gonna fight about this again?
This is not. This shouldn't be.
Gotta be quicker than you.
Oh, you know what? I don't need it. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right, folks.
All right.
Hold on here.
This is not a Beavers jersey.
Oh, wow. Grateful Nation.
This is the another one-of-a-kind Pendleton blanket from Pendleton Woolen Mills.
This is beautiful.
Nice.
Should I?
Charlie, oh yeah, you should open that up, sir.
Oh, well, it's different on both sides.
Yeah, this is a pretty color here.
Yeah, here. So we'll do this side, right?
There you go. There you go.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Pendleton. Pendleton wool.
Yeah, I recognize the Vietnam colors there. Okay. Korea, yeah.
Yep.
Wow, beautiful.
Iraq, Afghanistan.
All right. I got to brush up on my ribbons. Here. Thanks, sir. We got it. Thank you.
We'll ship those for you.
This is beautiful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Commander. Thank you very much
It won't
for
fit back in the box now, will it?
for taking some time to come and visit us in Oregon.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely
sir.
perfect. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all.
All right, Commander, I believe that's all we have for now.
At this time, I would like to invite John Rasmussen from the Evergreen Museum. John?
We'll make this quick.
Yes, sir.
No, I don't need that thing. Biggest waste of electronics ever. So, Commander, it was a pleasure showing you around today. An hour and a half, you're right, isn't enough. But here's a couple of mementos that we talked about before you leave. So, describes how we got the flying boat up here and the commemorative coin.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. That thing is massive.
It is.
Walking through it, I can't imagine how this thing got moved from California to. Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, John. Department Adjutant Lou Newbecker. Lou?
I don't need that thing. Tomorrow, the Legionnaires will find something out that we're going to start at headquarters. And if you go into that side of the building, you'll see all the ceiling tiles that are painted. So what Flynn and myself decided to do is we're going to raise money for the Oregon Foundation. And we figured the first tile should be something really, really special. So, Commander, if you would please pull the string.
I think this might have gotten me in trouble before.
Oh my.
Hold on down. Open her up.
Oh, cool. Oh, wow. I love it.
That is the Old Guard and the Thin Blue Line for the Commander's careers.
be immortalized at department headquarters.
Now we need you to sign it.
All right, so where do we want to?
Yeah, just, you know, any way you like.
Rich, turn around. There you go. And then Warren, don't want you to shake his hand.
So Monday morning, if you guys come in by 10ish, it'll be up.
Can you duplicate it? He'd probably like a copy of that.
Well, it's not so good.
We'll make it a
I
little
can,
bit
I
darker.
can, I could color it in for you. Give me a crayon, somebody.
Commander.
Thank you for that. Nice, very nice surprise. Thank you.
Thank you, Lou. That's going to look pretty nice, Commander. We're honored to have your tile in our ceiling.
Thank you.
Next, I call on past National Sergeant of Arms, Kevin Owens, for presentation.
I can't hear you.
Commander, you can sit tight, because it ain't for you.
All right.
You know I'm a very serious person. And I take offense to be calling K.O. the Clown the department clown. And I was bestowed that honor by our National Executive Committee, Rob Liebenau, and I've never heard him laugh so much. You think you're funny, right?
Okay.
You know, I told you, never poke the bear.
Remember what I told you I found at Dollar Store,
And
right?
Eddie Millar can tell you, he warned you, don't poke the bear.
Was
So
his
guess what?
idea.
It's your turn.
Was his idea.
So Rob, would you come forward?
Bear is poking back.
You might as well take your cover off, Rob. Take your cover off. So Rob, you were in the Navy, weren't you?
Of course, I was a cook. So
You were a cook.
remember that.
You were a cook, I know.
You want to eat tomorrow?
I was gonna be nice, Rob. As you know, I'm retired from the Coast Guard, Rob. And you always make fun of me. I'm tall, I'm 6 foot. Don't poke the bear, Whitmire. So Rob, we have, well, I've had conspirators. Gotta take that out. So Rob, we know you were a cook. Were you a good cook?
I was the best.
Okay, well, we heard that.
He made a hell of a
You ever seen a skinny sailor?
I was skinny once. So Rob, we presented this for you. Can you hold that?
Yes,
We
sir.
want to honor his service. We're not cheap here. So Rob, this is for you. No sailor can go out with his cover. There you go, Rob.
Well, you guys don't know how to take care of covers, do you?
Didn't wear one like that. Don't poke the bear. Here's your pipe, Popeye. Here's your ketchup bottle.
What do I do with this?
Well, I don't know.
Blow a little air up your.
The American Legion, Department of Oregon, does hereby bestow upon Robert D. Liebenau the name of Cookie.
That's what they called us in the service.
Thus making Cookie
gonna
the official cook of the Department of Oregon this 20th day of January 2019. Signed by all the members of Oregon. Here you go, Cookie.
They don't look like everybody.
And here's your official carrying bag. Don't poke the bear, Rob.
That is bad.
Rob, what's for breakfast?
Hey, and I can't sew, but I got people who can.
I've been telling Kevin, with that little bit of fuzz on his face, doesn't he look? Takes his cap off. Take your cap.
look like a
Doesn't
Viking.
it? Doesn't that look like a leprechaun?
I just don't know when to give up, Rob.
I think it's getting late. I think it's about time for a drawing of those gift baskets, so Phyllis, if you would come forward.
Perfect.
Thank you. And I just want to say right off the bat, thank you all so much for supporting the Commanders Project.
Thank you.
And just so you all know specifically where this money is going, it's a 50-50 split with the money. So this time the commander wanted half of this money to go to SAL. Yeah. And the other half of the money goes to whatever the commander's project may be. And I'm being told by the commander that that is also SAL. So SAL and so thank you, Commander. So what the ticket was for the baskets. So that's what you got. And thank you, $379 for SAL. So we'll have the First Lady of the Department of Oregon have the National Commander draw that winning ticket. And you get both baskets. Yeah. So get your tickets out.
You know, I drew a ticket at lunchtime and it was my own.
That's right.
Bought any this time?
I didn't buy it.
Okay. Bob, does this need to go through you, Bob? Does this need to go through you,
want me to
first,
read that?
Bob? Yeah, go.
Yeah, I think it needs to go through Bob.
Yeah, okay.
And just so everybody knows, the last time we did this at the DEC, it was for the American Legion Auxiliary. And, we kind of vowed this year to pull the family together. For the most part, we all do a really good job. But there are a few posts out there and a few people that are a little bit hard-headed, and they don't understand why the Auxiliary and the American Legion should be one. So, and with the Sons, the same thing. And so I wanted to make a point this year that we can support each other, and it's going to take us a lot farther down the line if we do. And I hope that we all understand that here, and we're going to make everybody in the state understand that too. So that's why this time it's going to the Sons of the American Legion, okay? So this ticket number is, let's see, can I read this? Yeah. 375422.
Is there a name on the back?
Hold on, it might be mine. 422.
If they're not present.
422 is me.
No kidding. Well, bring it up here, buddy. Did you get a copy? I want the ticket. Not that I don't trust you, my friend.
375422.
375422. Look at that. That's a winner. Congratulations, Kevin Owens. Commander.
All right. And you redo it for the foundation.
Okie dokie. Tomorrow morning, the Legion and both the Auxiliary will start out at 8:30 in the morning over at the Evergreen Museum. So we'll see you all there.
8:30?
I tell you what, it's been a wonderful evening. Hospitality by the McMinnville 21 American Legion family. And again, we thank you all for your great hospitality.
The honor guard's going to retire the
And
colors.
I hope we have an invitation to come back.
Honor guard's going to retire the colors.
At this time, I would call on our department chaplain, Chaplain Schallenberg, for the benediction.
Thank you, Steve.
Father God, we praise you and we glorify you. We thank you for being with us tonight, blessing each person here, blessing the food that we had and the hands that prepared it. We ask you now, Father, to be with each individual as they go to their personal destination. Keep them safe until we meet again. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Okay.
Commander Reichstad. we wish you journey's blessings, you and Ken.
Thank you.
And may your journeys be great and continue to do what you do for us.
Thank you, sir.
At this time, the Honor Guard will retire the colors.
Present. Whoop. Order up. Whoops. Retrieve. Colors.
Two. Thank you all again, and good night.
Good job, Commander.
Hey,
Thank
my
you,
pleasure.
sir. Thank you so
Hope we
much.
done you good.
Hope we done you good. You know you did. Like always, thank you.
Well,
This one you have to hold it till it goes out.
yeah.